But I think we're going to start with our review of Blue Beetle. You just saw it today. I saw it a couple days ago.
Yeah, as of the day we're recording. And so it's super fresh in my mind. But we're going to start off with no spoilers and then get into spoilers.
Right.
But yeah, so what were you thinking of it?
I thought it was I liked it. I think it overall it was a fun movie. It had some stuff I really liked. I liked a lot more of it towards the second half than I did the beginning.
That's interesting. Okay.
But I mean, there's a lot of stuff at the beginning I liked too. I mean, overall, it was a good, fun movie. The only thing is that it falls a little bit too much into superhero superhero isms. It has just a bunch of superhero tropes that are unfortunate. But I did like the Hispanic sort of having Hispanic culture and music and
the Mexican culture.
Yeah, just into it, they're representing it, and there's loads of things that I feel like without going to spoilers, there's things that I think a lot of people in Hispanic families would deal with and would be nervous about that happen in this movie and play out in very traumatic ways. And I think for the most part, I think it was really great to see all of that in a DC superhero movie. But I mean, yeah, I overall I enjoyed it. It was okay. It wasn't something that I'm necessarily dying to go see again. But I did enjoy it for while I was watching it for the most part. It just was a little has those tropes. Yeah.
I mean, for myself, I would say I really enjoyed it. Probably more than you at this point, which is surprising. I think you're usually the more positive one. But yeah, I truly I love the theme for this movie. The main, there's a couple of themes, but the main one is just family.
Right.
And it works so well. And Jaime Reyes's family is fantastic. The relationships he has with all of them, and it just feels so authentic and real for me. And yeah, I mean, I feel you though on the comic book tropes. For me, most of those come in the third act, so I was kind of surprised to hear you say the third act was stronger for you in that regard.
See, yeah, okay. I'll let you finish. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, other than the family theme, I love Palmera City. I think I'm noticing a theme in myself that I really love superhero projects that take place in their own fictional city.
Yeah.
Like Jersey City or Madripoor, that Marvel's done recently. I think that works on a more creative level than just setting it in LA or whatever. So yeah, Palmera City was great. Yeah, I mean, what else did I like? I love seeing how involved Ted Kord's legacy was in this.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool to see. I mean, I'm not even a big Blue Beetle fan, and I was recognizing things, and I'm like, okay, so Blue Beetle fans are really probably loving all of this. But yeah, I would also say pretty good soundtrack, and that to me got even stronger in the third act. They had some really good music for the end of that movie for sure. But yeah, I think I'm really liking it. I think there are some things I'm not liking, but I'll get to those in the spoiler part that we do. So yeah, we can get into spoilers now if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. So I guess that I can speak about at least the superhero isms. There was a lot of stuff at the beginning, the very beginning, that you have what's her name, who's the sister or the aunt or whoever of Ted. Is that his sister?
Yeah, it's Ted's sister, I think,
or cousin maybe.
That's my, I think that is a problem I have, is that they never really go in depth on who Victoria Court is.
Right.
And
or
I'm like,
what happened.
But she's got the last name,
right.
you know? And they explain a little bit like her story and how like the father gave the company to Ted over Victoria, but they never made it seem like they were siblings. And I had to look up after the movie if they were or not. So
and are they?
Yeah, they're siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the movie, they were asking her as they were like digging into this thing. It was like, how do you even know if it's in there? And she just said, I can feel it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sure.
She's just got a feeling,
you know, and I will say, like, towards the end, like there or the second half, like, yeah, there was a lot of superheroisms. There was like you don't deserve this power or right. There can only be one of us, you know. And I'm just like, oh my God, how many times have like heard
the line
this?
he said twice was the what was it? It was like the love you have for your family makes you weak.
Oh yeah, and then towards the end, it was like, no, it's what makes me strong. You know,
and I'm like, I get it's the theme of this movie, but like, there's no reason for the bad guy to have said that.
Well,
like in my mind,
yeah, like him as a character was a bit like when they did that reveal.
He's my least favorite in the movie.
Well, yeah. Well, I would love. I guess I'll ask why, because I don't. Yeah. But like for at least like for me, I don't like all his motivations seem a bit like I don't actually understand his motivation half the time, because eventually when we get around to the flashback of what happened to him, it was like, oh.
I mean, that's a good flashback.
No, yeah. Look, it's great. It's just this whole time, like, I still don't understand what his motivations are, other than like, did he want to be loyal to this person who's now also like fucked him up, or like, I guess she like took him in from a very young age, and
right. Like in my mind though, she kept saying like, I'm gonna fix you, but if she took him in from a young age, there's nothing to fix then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I thought like it when she said that originally, I was like, oh, okay. So he was like a soldier that she found that was paralyzed,
right.
and she's like fixing him. Right. But no, it's not that case. So yeah, it's a little odd that they had it like as her going back that far where he was a kid to save him. Yeah, and so that really, you're right. But like, what were his motivations? Why was he so loyal to this woman who had made his life awful?
Yeah, I have no idea. But like, you know, he was just like, you know, the same kind of. It was just a typical like, oh, the villain with the same powers as the hero, and though to a good extent, like it wasn't until like the end of the movie that he had much of a fighting chance against Jaime.
True.
You know, like Jaime like could have just devastated him. And I also have questions about like going back to the beginning, they do have the scarab. And freaking Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows is like experimenting on it. Or like, but like if it was so easy for them to just download all of the information from Jaime and also have like a machine solely set up to do that. Like that isn't, that was something that just, oh yeah, they have a machine that can just, you have to have purposefully made a machine that can do that. But like, why didn't they just do it then? Like, why didn't they just like upload from was it that it had to be
like, why were they,
did it have to be,
why were they so confident that no one was going to steal it?
Or like, did they need it to be attached to a host to download it? I don't know, but
no, because remember at the end she's like the guy was arguing that they needed to keep Jaime alive, the scientist guy, and she was like, that doesn't matter, just kill him and then we can study it when it's off.
So like, I don't know why they didn't just start from the beginning, but I guess you wouldn't have a movie. But
sure.
But I will say I loved. You haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, but when he's like, my name's not Sanchez, it's blah 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 blah, and then he ends with De La Cruz, and it's Guillermo De La Cruz. So like, there's a nice little like What We Do in the Shadows like moment there, which was great.
That is cool.
But I don't know. I really was getting more into the movie when it had more of the, because like the soundtrack was great, not just the like the songs that they were playing, but the literal like composed music. It was very 80s synth wave.
Yeah, the synth stuff was great.
Yeah, and so when they started to dive more into the action, the synth, like just like this noir synth sort of thing, and like the like him doing like that hallway fight in the corridors, and like when like that was pretty sick. And
well, I like to touch on that.
Okay,
if you're so basically, I think I came out of this movie really liking the story that was laid out, but I can't say like there was any fight scene that I was like impressed, or I was like, oh yeah, that really killed it. I don't know. Like I genuinely would not come back to this movie for the fight scenes. I think
they were still pretty like subpar, I think. But like,
I think like the only thing that was exciting for me was him testing his powers, but we had already seen all of that in the trailers. So I was like, okay. I mean, it's cool again, but you know, and I would have liked better fight scenes.
I think, I mean, the story, I guess for me, like the story, I did like it. I liked the stuff that was going on with the dad. I think the family was great. The dad was great. Yeah. Like all the family was pretty great.
The relationship between them. And like the relationship he had between his like his dad and like his uncle. Like his uncle Rudy and his relationship was great. I actually weirdly love George Lopez in this role. Yeah. He's like the perfect uncle. So yeah, props to him.
Yeah. No, the family was great. The person I saw it with was saying that there is a lot of Spider-Man isms to this movie. You know, you have the father figure that passes away. You have like this.
Sure, but you could say the father figure passes away in most superhero material, but
sure, but like he's like the father figure passes away. He's it's a bug related like superhero. He is juggling like his work life and his like romance life and his family life, and he's like a young dude, and so there's the bit of this like Spider-Man isms to it, which is not like a bad thing. It was just interesting to see it with that. So like when you were talking about the story, I was like, yeah, the story's good, but it still felt like something that I could like, I didn't like it. It felt very predictable, which is like still the case for a lot of superhero movies lately, which is a problem. And that's why I said like it was fine. It wasn't anything that blew me out of the way. It was just there was also the romance, the love interest. What I forget her name.
Jennifer.
Yeah. It was so funny at the end of the movie. She like, so they're doing like the funeral, and like all of the neighbors come out. And she like shows up in the motorcycle and is like, so we, you know, we're gonna rebuild your home. Yeah. And then I forget what else it was. It was like, and we'll get you a job, Rudy. Oh, and here's a new truck. And then she all of a sudden is like, looks at her watch and says, I really have to get going. And I was just like, wait. You don't need to get going anywhere. What, you just drop by to like be like, oh, here's a new house and here's a new truck. You know what's funny? And is
that immediately after that, like Jaime asks where she's going, and she's just like, yeah, I'm just going back to my dad's place.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get. She was like, I have to go back to my dad's place to like look at his art.
Look at my mom's painting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, what? You don't need to get going. You could easily just stay here, right? Bit. Exactly. He's like, oh no, it's really pressing that I go and look at my dead mom's art right now. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until you just said it, but that is funny.
Yeah, that was the part that I was missing. I was trying to like replay it like I was trying to talk about it the other day, and I was like, what was so fun? Because I was dying. I was like, I was just thinking to myself, like, yeah, I really got to go look at my dead mom's art. Bye, guys. But anyway.
Bye, guys. Sorry about your home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I guess, that's kind of like a goofy kind of complaint about the movie, I guess. But some more actual, maybe not like actual complaints, but I guess some little gripes or some things I would have written a little differently. So I guess adding on to the villain guy, I also thought it was dumb for him to have like had to change a heart at the end. We didn't really touch on that, but like to me, there was no speech or like realization he would have had for him to like suddenly be on Jaime's side and like kill his boss.
I feel like it had something to do with the fact that since Jaime is infused with the Scarab and Carapax, the villain, also had that fusion, and I guess like the Scarab was like knew about it because it had infused with him as well, that maybe there was some sort of joined like knowledge,
they had some sort of joined memory,
perhaps,
and he like saw the memories that Jaime saw or something.
And I don't know, maybe it was like he like didn't kill him, and that was like, and he was like a younger, like Mexican Hispanic man, and was like,
maybe it all just hit him in the right spot. Yeah,
I agree. Like it, and the OMAC. Not that I'm like, because I feel like I'm not a huge like comic book purist when it comes to the material, but the whole OMAC sort of storyline, I just felt it was a
little underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like OMAC felt like such a, at least in my opinion, it's such a great idea for a movie, and like I would have preferred to actually have seen like multiple OMACs instead of just like the idea of like, and like that's almost like a Justice League threat, and I'm just surprised that they decided to make it into this Blue Beetle movie, and like OMAC was like hardly even, like it was just Carapax at that point, like, and I think Carapax on his own is just like not even related to OMAC in the comics. So it was just a weird sort of thing and I was like, oh, okay. And I think the villain for Wonder Woman 84 is like the guy who like starts the OMAC project. So there's just,
oh, is he really?
Yeah,
Max Lord.
There's already so much like weird, and I was like, all right, well, this movie's not even gonna be canon anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, okay, so I'll get back to that.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you're fine. But yeah. So my other kind of weird complaint, I think, is it's kind of with Jaime and how he was written. Basically, I liked his theme of not feeling like he had a purpose, or like, not knowing where he belonged. But I feel like it wasn't touched that much upon in the movie, like for the first couple of acts. Like, he had that degree that was in pre-law. So I guess in my mind, I'm like, well, if you're gonna, like, if I'm gonna write this movie, and if we keep him in college, then like maybe I would mention him like being a little more interested in law, and like maybe just like spreading the fact that like he has some knowledge about law, and like maybe it's in his personality or whatever. Or I just would have written it differently as to like maybe he didn't finish college, and he just like he's not finding like what he wants to do in life, and that's why he has to come back home. Like, I don't know, I think I would have leaned into that more if I was gonna write Jaime as like, for this movie.
Sure.
But it all ended up working. It just could have worked better, I think.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And I think I had one more.
I do like, maybe not. I do like the kind of like the anime references with like there felt like quite a bit of anime like fighting references in the movie, like the big sword,
Sure,
kind of like
sure.
how the fight scenes would go down and be shot kind of felt like it, and also like at the end where he does like the name of the scarab while doing like the Dragon Ball blast, it almost was like Kamika.
Oh yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. I thought it was fun.
Sure.
I
Kind
thought
of young stuff.
I thought the grandma was funny and like great.
Oh my gosh, she stole the third act from me. She was great in the third act.
Down with
I
the colonizers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all, and it was very funny and very charming.
And also the Ted Korg stuff was really exciting. You know, I'm not also not a like very familiar with a lot of Blue Beetle stuff, but it was really fun to the only I feel like it was handled like it was almost there with it. Like there was like I appreciated him being this weird ADHD like Batman sort of
Right,
like
I loved
weird
how
gadget.
like almost. Where like they were saying like half his gadgets like might not work,
Right.
and like they were all really quirky and goofy, and
like I appreciated
I loved all that.
Yeah, I loved all that. And I like the idea that there is going to be a Ted Korg or Ted Cord, he's still alive, post credit scene.
right.
You know?
Yeah, they teased that at the end that he's back and he's calling out for his daughter in
Which
the end credit scene.
I don't think they would have kept that if
Yeah, I think James Gunn wants to use Ted Cord.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that at all.
yeah.
And I going back to your point earlier, I think like even though this movie won't like be in the continuity of DC Universe, like I think they'll use the family again, and I think they'll use Jaime and the suit, and like I think they're gonna use all of the aesthetics and personality that was built around Jaime. Maybe this movie won't be like referenced, and like Victoria and maybe Jennifer Cord won't be referenced. No, I think Jennifer would have to be, right, if Ted Cord comes back. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
But overall, I mean,
yeah,
it was good. I wasn't like
Yeah.
I didn't like love it. I didn't
Mhm.
hate it. I just was like, yeah, it was fun. And it had some like
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous things like just funny, ridiculous things. Like when he like shows up back at the house because they're threatening his family and he's like fighting
Mhm.
them. She like Victoria's like, get the
Fire in the Family.
huh? Oh no, not
Like
no,
when she's like fire on the family.
no,
Or
because
no.
like that I'm like, okay, sure. It's just like he'll show up, do his, to save them. But it was that on on the helicopter that she was like, ready the claw, and like have this
and it's swiveled around.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
like first of all, we're calling it the claw, and it's like this, and I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's just stupid things like that I'm like, that's ridiculous.
It's crazy villain stuff for sure.
Or when she's like, there's like a infomercial about the OMAC thing that's playing,
Mhm.
and I just look at the suits and I'm like, that looks stupid. Like those OMAC suits look stupid.
Yeah, they do.
So just
But yeah,
the-
overall, for me, I like it a little more than you. I think it's really funny at points. It's got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Made me like a movie that can make me emotional multiple times in a movie. Like I gladly watch it again. I just think it could have been better on the superhero tropes. Could have had a little bit better of a third act and some better fight scenes in general.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.